A warm welcome to the students. This is the second part of the sauce, in which components of the sauce we were talking about. So let's move ahead. I'm Chef Preeti Sinhal, an assistant professor at the AISSMS College of Hotel Management and Technology, Shivajinagar, Pune. So let's begin with the next part of component of sauce. In my earlier part, I have spoken about the roux and other thickening agent. Now, next, I'm going to talk about starches. So starches are also used as thickeners. Now, how these starches work, it is very, very important to know about it. So starches are the most common and most useful thickeners used in a sauce making. Where first, if I can say that, flour is the principal starch used in a sauce making. Other starches available to the chef includes cornstarch, arrowroot, waxy maize, then instant or pre-gelatinized starch, breadcrumbs. Then we have other vegetables and grain produces like potato starch, rice flour, which I'm going to tell you one by one. But over here, let's talk about how these starch work as a thickener. So starches thickens by gelatinization, in which starch granules absorb water and swell to many times than their original size. So to that, I will add one important point, that acid inhibits gelatinization. So whenever possible, do not add any acid ingredients to the sauces until the starch has fully gelatinized. So starch granules must be separated before heating in liquid. So how to avoid lump. Majorly, we see that when we are putting starch to anything, any gravy or any sauce, sometimes it develops lumps. So to avoid lumping, if granules are not separated, it is very important that lumping occurs because of the starch on the outside of the lump quickly gelatinizes and it prevents the liquid from reaching the starch inside, and that lump stays lump. So it is very important that how do you separate the starch granules? There are two ways: mixing the starch with fat. That principle of the one we spoke into first video, in that roux was there. And next will be a Birmani, which I'm going to talk in next slide. Then mixing the starch with the cold liquid. So normally this is the principle used for these all starches like cornstarch, arrowroot. These we can see on the slide. In that, what we do, a mixture of a raw starch and a cold liquid has been mixed to it. And normally it is called as a slurry, so which has been prepared and then it has been added to the sauce. So this is how it has been used. Now, if I talk about cornstarch, it produces a sauce that is very almost clear and it has a glossy texture. So again, to use that, we should mix this with cold water or other cool liquid until it becomes smooth. Then we need to stir it into the hot liquid. And we should bring to a boil and simmer until the liquid turns clear and there is no starchy taste. We should not boil for a longer period or the starch may break down and the liquid will again thin out. Arrowroot is used like, again, cornstarch, but it gives an even more clearer sauce. Then waxy maize is used for sauces that are to be frozen. Then we have a pre-gelatinized or instant starches. So they will thicken a cold liquid without heating. These starches are rarely used in sauces, but frequently used in, they are normally used in bake shops. Then we have a breadcrumbs. It will thicken a liquid very quickly because they have already been cooked, and like instant starches, it works. Then we have vegetable puree, ground nuts, and other solids. A simple tomato sauce is basically a seasoned vegetable puree. Sauce gets its texture from the thickness of the main ingredient, and then no additional thickener is needed. So using these same principles, we can add body or texture to the sauces by adding a smooth vegetable puree also, or by pureeing the mirpawa or other vegetable with the sauce. We can add groundnuts, which add texture as well as flavor to the sauce. So this is how the starches are being used, and this is the principle which works with starch. Now move to the next one. So this is the picture of the different starches. There is a tapioca starch, then there is a corn starch, then potato starch, then there's a rice flour, which is also being used for thickening. So this is how they look. Now moving to the next thickening agent, which is a beurre mani or mani butter. So beurre mani is a mixture of equal part of soft or raw butter and flour work together to form a smooth paste. Now over here, if you see, this is uncooked. This is not a cooked part. So it is used for quick thickening at the end of cooking to finish a sauce. Over here, the raw butter adds a nice flavor and it gives a sheen to the sauce when it melts. So for using it, we should drop very small pieces into the simmering sauce and stir with a whisk or whip until it becomes smooth. We should repeat until desired consistency is reached. Then it has been simmered just a few minutes more to cook the flour and remove from the fire. Once you add the thickening agent, we are not supposed to boil. We are supposed to only bring the sauce to the warm temperature, or I would say the service temperature. Now moving to the next, which is egg yolk and cream liaison. So over here, egg yolk has the power to thicken a sauce slightly due to the coagulation of egg protein when heated. But we need to be take care that when thickening with egg yolk, because of the danger of curdling, it can curdle. So we need to take care of the temperature. Actually, this happens when the protein coagulate too much and separate from the liquid. So normally, to avoid that, they are beaten with heavy cream before use. So this raises their curdling temperature. Now the heavy cream also adds thickness and flavor to the sauce. Actually, egg yolks have only a slight thickening power, whereas the liaison is used primarily to give richness of flavor and smoothness of texture to a sauce. And it gives a slight thickening. And normally what happens, because of the instability of the egg yolk, it is only used as a finishing technique. So how do we, what is the procedure of using a liaison? So in that, beating together the egg yolks and cream in a bowl. Normally stainless steel bowls are used. And the proportions are normally 2 to 3 parts of cream and 1 part of egg yolk is used. Then very slowly add a little of the hot liquid to the Lysol and beating constantly. This is known as tempering. And after that, of the heat, that warm or diluted Lysol is added to the rest of the sauce. So in the Lysol, first, the small quantity of the warm liquid has been added. And after that, that full mixture is added to the rest of the sauce. After that, stirring well as you pour in it and return the sauce to low heat to warm it gently. But we should not overheat or heat it over. Boiling should not happen, otherwise it will curdle. So this is how the yolks of egg and cream Lysol works. The next part of thickening agent or next component of the thickening agent is blood. It is usually used for game cooking. It thickens the sauce and it gives a particular flavor. If I add an example over here, then jugged hair, which has been prepared or which can be prepared. This way, in that thickening agent can be applied. Now, the last part of the component and component of the sauce is the flavoring and the seasoning ingredients. Now, I would say, although the liquid that makes up the bulk of the sauce provides the basic flavor, other ingredients are also added to make variations on the basic theme and to give a finished character to the sauce or sauces. Now, adding specified flavoring ingredient to basic sauce is the key to the whole catalog of classic sauces over here, I would say that. There are many hundreds of sauces listed in the derivatives, I can say, or there is a repertoire are made by adding 1 or more flavoring ingredients to one of the 5 basic sauces, or there are other leading sauces into that. For an example, I can say Mornay sauce. In that, the white sauce, the cheese has been added, and that becomes Mornay sauce, whereas mustard sauce, white wine sauce. So these are different flavoring to the added to the basic sauce, and this is how flavoring can be added to it. Now, for the seasoning, the sauces must be checked very, very carefully for seasoning before serving. And always the last step of the recipe, and I would say that's an unwritten rule, that adjust the seasoning. Over here, the salt is a very, very important seasoning to the sauce. Lemon juice is also very important. Now, these two seasoning, they emphasize the flavor that are already there by stimulating the taste buds. They are supposed to be added at the end. So we need to adjust it as per our taste buds. That is very, very important. Then cayenne pepper and white pepper are also used sometime for the seasoning. So guys, this is how the components of sauce works for the final preparation of these mother sauces. They are the base, they are the component. So along with my first video of component sauce, you try to watch it carefully, then practice it with a great attention and sincerity. And I can assure you that by practice, you can achieve the skill of making a good sauce. So in my next videos, now I will be talking about the classification of the sauce, and the physical characteristics, I would say over here, or how the sauce should be, the physical properties I'm going to speak about, and then individual sauces I'm going to explain with the recipe and all. So be attentive and look for more videos. Have a good day. Thank you.